This is Matthew Reese with Primetime Sports. I'm sitting here at the Duncanville Field House watching day 2 of the Dallas TipOff Classic. And with me right now is president of Snoop Johnson Basketball Report, Bryce Johnson.
Royce.
Royce,
Royce Johnson,
Royce
yes.
Johnson, excuse me.
No problem.
Welcome. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Doing great. A little tired, but
Yeah, you told me you just got back from the Final Four. How was that?
it was great. It was great. Got a chance to visit with a lot of new head coaches, college head coaches that were longtime assistant coaches and friends, and those guys now got head coaching jobs. So it's going to be a lot more opportunity for a lot of guys.
That's great. Speaking of college coaches, a lot of the players here this weekend at the Dallas Tip-Off Classic have a future in basketball. We have some of the best players in the DFW Metroplex competing this weekend. Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen today in the action that you've watched?
Well, today got a chance to come in, I guess around 12 o'clock, and just stuck my head in there a little bit. And, one of the teams that really impressive today, as being day 3, was Dallas Showtime Elite, Dallas Showtime Elite, with Big E, his group. Really fast. Guys shot the ball really well. I thought the team they were playing, Texas Legion, had some good prospects on there. Had some really good prospects. It's early in the year. Good young team I saw down there, D1 Premier. They got a really good young team down there, full of they have some of the top 2019 kids in the state, and some in the country. But, the one thing about day 3 is a lot of guys are fatigued, so you don't really get a chance to see their best because they're kind of tired just from the weekend, But getting ready to go see the Mustangs over there a few minutes ago. I know 2 of the Mustang teams are playing each other.
Right.
Tons of prospects on those teams.
Right.
So it's a good tip-off event, well run.
So what to you makes a good basketball prospect? When you're watching these kids play, what do you look for in a young athlete who can play at the next level?
Well, the first thing I look at is myself. I look at a kid that consistently competes. A kid that consistently competes. The next thing I look at is how coachable is the kid. You watch a kid interact with his teammates, watch a kid interact with his coaches on the floor and on the bench. Because if you play hard and you're coachable, you can get better. You can get better. Then the last thing I do, I watch your physical tools. I don't start the other way around. Because if you just got the tools and you just have the talent, but you don't play hard and you don't have the ability to listen, you're not going to get any better. But if you listen, you play hard, you're going to get better. And the last thing is do you physically have it? With the height, the size, the speed, the strength. So you definitely look for guys that are specialists, guys that can shoot, athletes. You look for that stuff, but the intangibles is what tell me that what you got the potential to be. And that's what I really look at. What's their upside? If they do some don't have an upside.
Right. So how long have you been in the game? How long has the Snoop Johnson Report been around?
This is just the second year. Second year. I was a long-time high school basketball coach at Kimball High School, and things went south there and went in a different direction. But I've enjoyed the last 2 years, really seeing other teams, and really this is something that I've always loved, evaluating players. I always love. That's my love, evaluating players. So I'm always be around the game.
So you're you're a former coach. You've always been around the game. You love evaluating players.
Mm-hmm.
What is some advice that you would give a young player to maybe separate himself from the masses of youth basketball players? Because there's hundreds of these events every weekend across the country. The youth basketball game has grown to massive heights. So how can young players separate themselves?
By not focusing in on anything and everything that has nothing to do with playing the game. Let the rankings be the rankings. That's just what we do. You know, don't fall for the hype, whether it's good or bad. You know, don't just enjoy the hype when it's on your side, and then, you know, when it's negative, you fall apart. Don't worry about that. You know, concentrate on your craft. That's it. That's the one thing that I would say to players is concentrate on your craft. That's it. That's all you can focus on is getting better. You know, and that's it. Just keep getting better. You know, and listen, ask questions on how can I get better. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to separate the ones that continue to play and the ones that don't continue to play.
So the Dallas Tip-Off Classic, it's a coming together of some of the best programs in the DFW area.
Mm-hmm.
You have Dallas Showtime, you have Mustangs, you have DJH5, you have Nike Pro Skills, and those are some of the big names among plenty of others that are just as good.
Mm-hmm.
What is a tournament like this do for the Dallas basketball community, do you think?
Oh, it's good. I mean, you know, as fans, you know, Dallas has great basketball. We had 3 McDonald's All-Americans in Chicago the other day.
Right.
You know, I mean 3 from the city, not the state.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it's just good to, you know, during this time of year for fans to not have to travel to sit here and watch, because we love watching it. You know, and the fans, they love to come out there and see these kids at a young age. You know, every now and then you want to travel to, you know, let the kids get exposed to something different. That's what it's there for. But you know, for them to create an event like this as a tip-off, you know, that just puts a stamp, you know, in a signature event on the kickoff of the, you know, of the grassroots basketball season. You know, I hope it grows. I hope everybody, you know, supports it. I know some of the guys go to Arkansas, you know, in different events, Tulsa, but I don't see why this event can't get established as an elite event. So, you know, it's well run.
Just your overall thoughts on why Dallas is such a great basketball city. What makes Dallas able to have 3 McDonald's All-Americans? Is it attitude? Is it just number of people? What do you think?
Well, it's the guys before now, the players of the past. You know, you always look at things after. You look at where we are right now, and the reason we're where we are right now is because of the players in the past. Some of those guys didn't get a chance to reap the benefit of Dallas being such a hotbed, but they are the reason that Dallas is a hotbed right now, you know, because of their successes. And those successes that some of those guys that were overlooked, now it has the people from an outside of Texas, from a national media and national colleges, it has those guys now wanting to. We don't want to miss.
Right.
You know, we don't want to miss what we missed before.
Right.
You know, we didn't see what Chris Bosh. We didn't know he was going to be that.
Right.
You know, maybe we did. We didn't know AC Law could be that. You know, but you know, we're not going to miss again. So, you know, watching those guys in the past, we've had so many guys that wasn't McDonald's All-Americans, that wasn't All-American type players, that to them came out of nowhere. But we've been seeing those guys all the time, just like this, watching them right here. We've been seeing it. So, you know, but that and Dallas is very competitive. It's a competitive city. I know sometimes we tend to look at each other like, you know, guys are not being supportive, guys are hating. We're just a naturally competitive city, and it's a good thing, bad thing. But that competition and that will to compete is the reason that our players are so competitive. You know, our players don't just show up to play; they compete. And so that's one of the things that I don't think we need to change. That I just think we need to keep it in perspective. That it's just competition, you know. And there's plenty of kids, and let's get our kids. You get your kids, we get our kids, and let's make those kids, you know, help them get better, you know. And that's it.
So we were talking earlier about the Dallas Tip-Off Classic, the great level of competition here here, and the media component here is big. We have a lot of recruiting services here.
Right.
Talk a little bit about how that impacts the game and how that impacts Dallas basketball.
Well, I mean, it impacts it in a big way. As much exposure as you can get the kids, the better. As there is no right and wrong in exposure. When you look at exposure, you want to have credible people, as many credible people as you can. The people from the outside don't see these kids as much as we do. And the thing is, you have some guys on the West Coast that they have people down here that they feel is credible. So they want to get information about Dallas basketball. They call certain people. If you only had one person, we'll miss out on a lot of exposure for the kids. So as many people as we got that have relationships outside of our community helps our kids, because that's the ultimate thing when you're talking exposure. You want to help the kids, you want to help the programs, the high school programs, and it all comes from exposure. If you're going to call yourself a media service, you have to have exposure. You got to expose the kids. You got to put them out there. You can't ride one wave. You got to find as many waves as you can, and the more kids that we get out there, outside of our area, get noticed outside the area, it only brings more exposure and more recognition to our city and to the basketball brand.